Hello and welcome to WordPress with Groves Prof. So I'm going to show you some things to do that you can do with WordPress. Today we're going to be focusing on creating a new post, but we're going to be creating a new post in the dashboard. And if you use WordPress.com, the danger is they give you what I call the cheat screen, which is the easy posting screen, and I don't want you to get used to using that. You really want to learn to use the more complicated dashboard because it gives you a lot more options and flexibility. So anytime you are logging into a WordPress site, whether it's one that's been created with WordPress, like this site, springvegasscoop.com, or if you are using one that's hosted at wordpress.com, like this one, what you will do is you go to the full domain, then /wp admin. And what that does is that gives you the login screen. In this case, I've already logged into the site, so it automatically logs me into my dashboard. This is the real dashboard. This is the back end that I want you to get comfortable with. And what you'll do when you're creating a new post, often you're going to be tempted to go up to this part of the screen and click New Post up in the upper right hand corner. And you click on New Post, and you get this wonderful screen which seems so clean and easy to use and looks like Word, and it makes me feel really comfortable and good about myself. But you don't want to be satisfied with that. What you want to do is you want to go to the dashboard. And the way you get to that, if you get to this screen by mistake, go up to your little picture and click on the name of your blog or your site, and it will get you back to the main dashboard. So in this case, I've got my main dashboard. It looks a little daunting at first. Don't be afraid. It's actually pretty easy to use. You'll notice that they also have this quick draft, which allows you to also create something simple. Don't fall for that either. So what you'll want to do is you'll want to look over on the left-hand side of the screen. That gives us all of our options for navigating this particular site, however your WordPress site is set up. What options you have depends upon what access you have. If you are the administrator for the site, you'll have all the options. If you are an author or a contributor to the site, there are some of these options you won't have, like appearance won't be on there, you won't be able to add users, that kind of thing. But you should be able, in every case, to add a post. So what we want to do to create our new post is to go down our menu items and click on Add New. And what you're going to find with using WordPress, there's always more than one way to do something. So you might find your own way to do something. That's okay. But what you want to make sure that you get to is this screen, which gives you the full plate of options. Sometimes, depending on how your WordPress is set up, there may not be little option boxes. As you look around the screen, you'll notice here we have the main section for our post. We have a publish section that allows us to decide when we want to publish it and how we want to publish it and how we want to publicize it. We have a tag section, a categories, and then we have various other things that are specific to WordPress. If for some reason there are some options that you don't see on yours, in the upper right hand corner is this screen options. And if you click on that, that shows you what is shown on your dashboard for the post screen. So if there's something in particular that you need, you'll want to check it so it's displayed. The most common one that is not checked by default, and I'm not sure why WordPress chooses to do this, is the discussion. That is the one that allows you to turn off comments on a particular post. So if you disallow comments, the little comments box won't appear on your post. So let's get back to the main post window. So here we look at posts. You'll notice there's a title. That's the headline of your post. I encourage most people to keep their posts to about 5 to 7 words. You want it to look good. And you want to think of this as being informational. For search engine optimization, it's best if you choose something informational so that your post can be found. And then in this section, the main section, really is where you type your article or your post, much like you would type in Word. And what you'll notice is, as you look in the post window, a lot of these functions are the same. You have the boldface, italics, strike through, bullet points, a block quote. All of that kind of stuff is very useful for your posts. At the very end of this is what's called the toolbar toggle, or in the old days what they used to call this was the kitchen sink. If your post window looks like this, that means those extra options are hidden. And to get to those, you hit your toolbar toggle. And then you'll get all those other options like underlining, adding symbols, and that kind of thing, using indents. So what I encourage you to do is play around with some of these functions and see what it's like and see what you're playing with and what makes sense to you. In a later video, we'll highlight how to add media and a poll and some of the other things that you can do with WordPress. At this time, I just want you to focus on playing around with the items in this part of the screen. So if I say, this is my wonderful post, if you double click on a word, that's when you can do things. I can italicize them, I can do all different kinds of things. And you'll notice if we're in the visual tab, this is a what you see is what you get, the WYSIWYG approach. If you get something that looks like this, where it's the HTML, you're in the text window. And we're not going to get to that in this video. We're going to stick with the visual screen because I'm just introducing you to the basics of the post. Then you can type your title. This is my wonderful post. And that's not the world's greatest headline, I realize, but it's just to give you an idea of what it looks like when you fill in the content on this. And what you'll notice is as you type in your post, it spaces it out and it gives you an idea of what it looks like. You can also use this function to create headings, subheads, and other formatting for your post. I encourage people to use lots of subheads. You want to think about how your post looks visually for your reader. That's very important to do. So in this case, what we're focused on, this gives you the basics of doing your text editing. There is a spell checker in there, and I encourage you to do that for all of your posts. And then once you're done with your post, you can either save the draft, you can preview what it looks like on your site. So this is what it looks like once it's actually on the page. And the beauty of preview is it doesn't go live, but it lets you see what it would look like on your particular site. And then the other function that is very important is this publish, where you can schedule your post. And if you are someone who is responsible for a lot of content, it's good to use this function. You may have a day that you consider your blog day. That would be the thing that you would want to you would want to do them all in one day, but schedule them so they're spaced out during the week. You'll also see the publicize, which allows you to choose which social media you use to advertise your posts. And you'll want to link that to your social media. You want to be careful about if you do a lot of posting of just blasting your audience in all of those media. You want to make sure it makes sense for your particular audience. In each case, you can customize the post to fit whatever medium it is. So if you're going to Twitter, you can customize it to 140 characters. And then when you're done, you can hit publish or schedule depending on how you've scheduled it. This will change to schedule, and that allows you to publish your post. So that's the basics of this post window. One last note I want to make to you is make sure that you're using the posts function and not the pages function, because as you'll notice, if I add a post page, I'll leave the page, it looks a lot like a post, except it says add new page. But in the world of WordPress, there's a huge difference between pages and posts. And we'll talk about that in a later video as well, because at this point I'm just introducing you to the post window. So that's our lesson for today. I hope that gives you the back end and a little bit on using posts and publishing a post. That should give you enough to to get started. And if you have any questions, you can always reach me via Twitter at GrovesProf, or you can reach me on email at jgroves@drury.edu. Thanks for tuning in.